Based on the Tallahassee straw ballot, property tax is a top priority for many, closing the door on mills, private parties, and just about anything else paid for by lobbyists. It's meant to keep politicians from being bought, but Eyewitness News reporter Troy Kinsey tells us some complain it's gone too far. A young woman is attacked and raped, and the culprit is still on the loose.
Jen, I'm just gonna have to take in enough of this aroma for the both of us. About a third of young adults voted in the last election. This year, though, several students say there's more of a reason to see people like them in places like this. Those who survived this tragic twister, their beat remains high. He does have a lengthy to-do list, but he says it all can be accomplished.
Companies are remaining cool, calm, and collected, but several residents I spoke with are bundling up and bracing themselves for the cold night ahead.
Rides of FAMU's vineyards. Hundreds got a chance to tour 60 acres of grapes, fruits, and more. Kids are still lining up to tell Santa what they want for Christmas. And for retailers, they're hoping Santa brings them a bigger payoff.
I thought about claiming my cat. Claudine, any tips for last-minute filers?
Well, don't claim your cat, first of all. But advisors say the key is getting organized.
One message these kids want to tell you in 1, 2, 3. Happy 4th of July! Kate, back to you.
Good afternoon. Thanks for tuning in to Live at 5. I'm Claudine Cleophat. Our top story today, 5 students are arrested at a local high school after a violent fight. And because of today's age of technology, that fight is on the internet for the world to see. Now, Eyewitness News reporter Patty Harrison joins us with more. Patty? All right, thanks, Patty Harrison, for that report. Also today, Florida A&M University's police department is still trying to figure out what sparked the shooting on campus. The 5 men involved in the shooting, Antoine William, Rashad Bell, Ronaldo Bell, Benjamin Robinson, and Corey Johnson were released from jail on Saturday. Officials say last Friday an argument led to shots being fired on the set. Several bullet holes were found on the trunk of a 4-door Mercury Sable. No one was injured.
Shootings are a dangerous thing, but since in this matter it seemed to be between the people who were involved and not a school rampage, I believe that this university is still safe.
Antoine William was the only FAMU student involved in the shooting. He's expected to be expelled, but we're still waiting for official word from the university. And we'll have more on this story tonight at 5:30 and at 6. Domestic violence is a large problem, impacting nearly 25% of all women. But violent households don't only harm the person who is abused, they also harm the children. Experts say oftentimes children have a difficult time coping in abusive households. And when there's tension in a household, children tend to blame themselves.
The children often feel like if I hadn't had the TV too loud, if I had behaved better, if I had done my homework, if I did better in school, then Daddy wouldn't be so mad all the time and Mom wouldn't be crying.
Experts say children who live in households where violence is present run the risk of repeating the behavior. Some will seek out violent relationships in adulthood, and others are likely to victimize others. A nursing home employee in Southwest Georgia is charged with sodomy and sexual battery. Police say he performed a sexual act on an elderly patient. Authorities arrested 47-year-old Charles Cone, an employee at the Woodlands at Cobblestone Nursing Home in Moultrie. Police say an employee reported Cone touched a 92-year-old male patient inappropriately. The patient said the inappropriate actions occurred on 2 separate occasions. Authorities say this is the first time Cone was entered into the system. He is currently at Colquitt County Jail. The demand for teachers in Florida is on a decline. Education officials are looking for 17,000 new teachers this fall compared to 32,000 in 2006. They say the low numbers are a result of looming state budget cuts and lower enrollment. Now, a spokesman for the Institute for Economic Competition says he expects teacher hires to rebound when the housing market bounces back. Still, school districts are among the top employers in some regions. The Orange County school system ranks second only to Walt Disney World with more than 23,000 employees. Some new jobs are coming to the Peach State. Today, labor officials say it's an effort to tackle the state's rising unemployment rate. The Georgia State Department of Labor says almost $30,000 will go into creating summer jobs for young people living in South Georgia. The money is a part of a statewide effort to help young people prepare themselves for when they eventually enter the job market full time. The department hopes it helps promote a good work ethic. Now, for more information, you can visit our website, WCTV.tv, and click on Georgia New Jobs. Now it's time to go over to the newsroom now and Lee Gordon to find out what's coming up at 5:30. Lee, how's it looking?
It's looking good, Claudine, and here's what we're working on for 5:30. Applying for a new driver's license just became a little bit more complicated. We'll tell you why. And most of us are waiting for those tax rebates, but when should we start stocking the mailbox? We'll let you know. And what are the odds that someone actually scores perfectly on their March Madness bracket? We'll have that and more in about 20 minutes. We'll see you at 5:30, Claudine.
Looking forward to it. Thanks, Lee. All right, finding a creative, engaging outlet may not only keep Alzheimer's patients actively using their brains, it may even improve their symptoms. Details next in Medical Minute. But first, Mr. Food takes pressure off of dinner time.
We're putting a new...
Understand how emotional it is for us to, I'm sorry, that's enough. I can't.
Bay County Boot Camp Commander Charles Helms Jr. had high hopes for Martin Lee Anderson when the 14-year-old first entered the camp.
I asked him, are you ready to go through this program? And he said, sir, yes, sir. He had a very good attitude, highly motivated young man. I saw that we were not going to have any problems with this kid.
But hours later, Anderson's stay took a tragic turn. Since Anderson's death, the boot camp has closed and Helms has had to make do at another job. But he says pressure from protesters and media has made it tough.
We were given a trial of our peers. We were given a fair trial. I think the state failed to prove the case because there was very little evidence to the fact that anything that was claimed early on in the case was actually true.
Protesters are blaming the guards for the teen's death, but his attorney still says the sickle cell trait was the fatal factor.
In the trial, the state's own experts, all three of them said that the strikes to the forearm and the thigh area had absolutely nothing to do with this young man's death. All three of them said that he was in a state of sickle cell exertional crisis.
The former boot camp commander says he's still being persecuted for what happened behind this fence. But Helms and his family says the verdict here should have been the last step.
I can imagine the Andersons family, what they went through. But on the other side, we've gone through a lot too.
My house and everything I own is scattered over 10 acres.
For more than 15 years, Billy Etchell called this place home. But in just a matter of seconds, his home was no more.
Well, I was asleep. My wife woke me up about 10:30 and told me we had bad weather coming, that we needed to leave. And I told her no. I said, we've been through storms before. She said, we're going to leave, or I'm going to leave you.
All that's left of his 3-bedroom home are memories and a newly added porch. Through this difficult time, Billy has relied on family and good friends like Willie Hines to lend a helping hand.
I feel the community is coming together real good. Everybody came in 4 days this morning.
Just a few yards away, the Perrys can't help but count their blessings. They were home when the tornadoes hit.
The lights went out, and then we just heard like a lot of wind and like stuff hitting against the wall, and then woof, it was just like we under the house.
The Perrys have not even lived in this house for a year, but with at least 6 reported dead just miles away, they have a brighter outlook on things.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like we lost nothing because we got each other and we still living, and I can do like this. You know, and from the looks of this, I shouldn't even be able to do that.
These Seminoles are sort of crossing unfamiliar territory. No, seriously, they are. What was Miko Drive is now Territory Way. But the changes don't stop there. Dogwood Way is now Honors Way, West Park Avenue now Traditions Way. Florida State yielded to the city of Tallahassee's request to change the name since there were a few duplicate roads in town.
This started back in actually 98. That's how long it's been. And our first thought was, let's try not to change any that we don't have to, but it turned out we had to change all of them.
FSU took the high road, make that diplomatic approach, renaming streets it thought best identify the university. But some say such a drastic change can be costly.
That's going to have an impact, I believe, on the budget of university, because changing the name implies that they have to change the address and all the forms.
It can get costly, but many Seminoles never really paid attention.
It makes sense because there's so many duplicates, but it's just even more annoying to remember them now.
I don't even know the names of the buildings. You know, we've been here, what, 5 years now? We just know approximately where things are.